I mean, sorry, not the Toastmaster, the table topics master to the stage. Sorry, guys. And that's going to be Slate Nation.
Thanks, Courtney. Hey guys, I'm the table topics master for today. As I share my presentation, which is actually Noah's presentation, he provided the questions. I'll explain what the table topics section is. Let me pull this up first. Okay, can you guys see my screen? It should say table topics life. Let me know if you can see it. All right. Gonna assume it's working. So, table topics. This is the section where you practice your off-the-feet speaking skills. Everybody in the meeting will have a chance to give an impromptu 1 to 2 minute speech. I'll give you a prompt, you'll see it on the screen, and I'll ask it. And then any volunteers can first volunteer. And if no one volunteers within about 10 seconds, I'll go ahead and pick on someone. And again, this is a very supportive environment, so don't be afraid to come up and speak at all. And you can speak on anything about the prompt whatsoever. Just trying to speak for solidly for at least 1 minute and up to 2 minutes. And we will be voting for best and second best speaker. All right, and with that, I'll go to the first question. Let me pull up the chat first, make sure. Okay, so, and our theme is life. And some of these questions might look familiar if you've been to some previous meetings. Okay. What was your favorite thing to do as a child that you would love to still be able to do as an adult? This could be anything from napping to something even sillier or something more on the serious side. You can go ahead and just unmute your mic and shout it out. I can't necessarily see everyone's video.
I can do this one.
All right.
Slate.
You're good. Sourin, go ahead.
So what do I wish, like, what was a favorite thing? So I think for all of us, right, being able to go on the playground and just like have fun was a really calming memory because we didn't have to really worry about all this like work, homework, future aspirations, we didn't have to think of all that. We just sat in a swing and swung for like an hour straight. That was everything that was going on in our head. We didn't think about anything else. And I feel like one of the best things that I miss from my childhood is just being able to not think about the future. Like, this sounds very deep in that, but you just think about that one day itself. You don't think about what's going to happen a week from there. You don't think about what's going to happen a year from there. You don't think about that. You just think about having the best time in your life in that 1 hour that you're allowed to go outside and play on that playground. So whether it be in that 1 hour, you're going to go down the slide, you're going to go on that swing, you have basically any opportunity to do anything in that hour. So I feel like being able to just like sit there for an hour devoid of the external world, not thinking about anything. I mean, it could be going on the playground, something along those lines, just being able to calmly do what I do and have fun rather than think of everything would be nice. Thank you.
That was great, Sourin. I could totally relate to that. Both the straightforward message of being on the playground and also the deeper message I took from your table topic of living in the moment is what I got from that. So I think we can all relate to that. Something to strive for. All right. For our next question. Who are 2 people in your life that inspire you and why? Who would like to take this question?
I can take this one.
Okay, go ahead, Courtney.
So I would say 2 people in my life that inspire me, and why is my parents. My dad is a physician and my mom is actually a judge, and they've definitely put a lot of pressure on me and my brother to be really successful in life. And growing up, that was something that was stressful and put a lot of pressure, but I appreciate it now. I am who I am because of them, and they just set an amazing example. They were always working really hard. They were always working towards their careers, but they also had a lot of friends and a whole social life, and I always definitely looked up to them, even in times where I didn't necessarily have the best relationship with them. But yeah, they are two really good inspirations to have, and I'm really grateful that I have such amazing parents. Thanks, guys.
Okay, sorry I'm taking so long to unmute. It takes a while to pop up sometimes when you're sharing your screen. That was great. I'm sure that can definitely be a lot of pressure to very good professions for parents. That's almost stereotypical, sort of instilling those family values of wanting to get a good job, etc., and make an impact, just like Justin was saying. All right. And as you can see from me accidentally clicking forward, our next question is, what are your 3 favorite personality traits that you have? And you can see a few suggestions on there that you might possess, or any other numerous personality traits that you have. So who would like this question?
Can I take this one?
Yes, Kaylee.
Awesome. Okay, so 3 of my favorite personality traits, which doesn't necessarily include ones that I have, but I really value people who have optimism, creativity, and I'm gonna just take that one that's on the slide, agreeableness. So one, optimism, I think that is such a great thing to have. Not just like willy-nilly optimism where every single day you can just be in a good mood necessarily. I'm thinking more about along the lines of when you are struggling with something. I think it shows a lot of character that someone can find a good thing when a lot of things are going badly for them at that moment, because it shows that, in that contrast of their life experience at that moment, they can still see something good, and I think that's a really great thing. As for creativity, I really think it's a great thing when you meet somebody and you just kind of connect on that creative, intellectual level where you can like collaborate with that person and create something all on your own, together, all on your own. And just creating something from almost literally nothing. I think that is something more like a gift that some people don't recognize, and it's not necessarily so right in your eyes. It can be very subtle. And lastly, I really appreciate when somebody is very agreeable, who can be in a room with people who are of totally different faith or beliefs from them, and still get along and see and respect those people for their beliefs. Thank you.
Thank you, Kaylee. I think those were all excellent traits to look for, both if you're trying to look for it in yourself or just others, like you said. And that was great, really. Okay. On to the next question we have today. At this very moment, right now, what do you want most? So, do you want to go to bed? Do you want to study? Do you want to be at a concert, not under the current circumstances? What do you want to be doing right now? Dan, would you like to try this one out?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Right now, what I think I would like most is calm, just general tranquility. With everything going on because of COVID and midterms, it gets to be very stressful, but so finding those small moments of calmness and helps balance everything out. And so what I really want is just to be able to maximize that tranquility and have the opportunity to have peace despite everything else going on, and that so that the going ons are not as hard as they can be. And that peace is really refreshing and it's very helpful. And it makes in general things go better.
That was a great response, Dan. I couldn't agree more. I know I've gotten very stressed during these times through numerous things, ongoing school, all these changes to our lives, but I think you said it best. We need to find that tranquility, just like you said. Thank you for answering that table topic. For the next question, a short but straightforward, what motivates you? So what motivates you to get out of bed every day and do something? Kimberly, are you here? Would you like to take this one?
Yeah, I can take this one. What motivates me? I guess probably like the applications that are on like our phone or our laptops that we use every day. I'm pretty fascinated about how like the software works itself, and it's pretty interesting when you're working on a coding project and see it how it comes out. So I guess that's what kind of motivates me, like every morning to actually be productive and do work, because there's just a lot of things like components to learn, even if it's like a simple topic. Yeah, that's it.
Thanks, Kimberly. I love that, wanting to learn more. I often find myself thinking similar thing of how does it all work? So I think that's really cool. That's what motivates you. Thanks for that. Next question. What are the first 3 things you do when you wake up in the morning?
I can take this one.
You can go ahead.
So you guys probably already know that I'm a dog owner. So the first thing I have to do in the morning is walk my dog, or she'll scream at me because that's what she does. But more importantly, one of the first things I have to do lately is drink some tea, because hydration is really important, you guys. Like, the difference between me being super lazy all day and being super productive is water. And I just learned that recently, which is pretty problematic, but that's okay. And the other thing I do is make a smoothie, and I like to put lots of fruits in it. I don't put vegetables in it because I'm not a huge fan of that, but I have some superfoods that I can add to it. And it's really amazing. It's really increased the amount of productivity that I have every week. And it's just so amazing how important it is to fuel your body properly, and how much it can change your life if you do make good choices every day with what you eat. And so if you're not a smoothie person, I definitely recommend it. I'm not a smoothie person. That's the thing. I don't necessarily enjoy smoothies, but they really do make a difference in my everyday. That's it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for telling us what you do in the morning. And I'll have to try out smoothies with those fruit smoothies. I don't think I've ever had a breakfast smoothie or gotten up and just been thinking to myself, wow, I really need that cup of tea. I very on and off drink tea myself, mostly because I probably fill it half with honey. So it's probably not the absolute healthiest when you drink that much. But thank you, Courtney, for that table talk. For the next question, what are 3 things you look for in a good friend?
You repeat the question?
Yes. What are 3 things you look for in a good friend?
Okay, I guess I can take this one.
Okay.
So the first good thing I look for in a common friend is a similar passion. I find that if I don't have something in common with that friend, I can't really relate to them. So there has to be that initial thing. It's I think it's actually described by C.S. Lewis. It's almost like we're going in a group with some other people, and then there's that moment where it's like you too, you do this as well, and it's like that great moment of discovery that like we're on a similar path. Which is pretty awesome. The second thing I look for is humor. I think for me, humor is really important. Just being able to take a situation and find what's funny about it, while also having proper humor, being able to remain serious when it's necessary. But just, being able to have a good laugh is really important. And I also find that good humor often includes having a good imagination, which I would say is the third thing I look for in a friendship. Someone that I can go down many rabbit holes with, of thinking about things, and not like anxiety-based things, but things along the lines of, what would happen if someone threw a ham out of a 10-story window? Where would it land? Would anyone be hit? What would their reaction be when they got hit? If you don't have an imagination, I think it's harder to go down those rabbit holes and have a good time. So, and beyond that, I think imagination helps connect lines and things. For me, imagination comes with an intuition. It's almost like being able to connect lines where it may be hard to see them and say, oh, well, maybe if this person is in this type of feeling, and then they're doing this kind of thing, and what if it's linked to this, and sort of, connected things. So to me, imagination is very important. And thank you so much.
Thanks, Justin. The imagination is a new one on me, and something to look for in a friend. I know a lot of times people, for that type of question, answer humor. I think we all look for someone that has humor in some aspect, but imagination was a great one. Here is our next question. So first, a quote by Aristotle: "We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit." So what is something you do that you never change? What is something that you do that you never change?
Well, if you guys don't mind if I take this one, Slate?
Sure, Scott.
All right, great, thanks. I was also going to ask, is it possible if someone can time me while I take this one, please?
Yes, I can. If you give me just 1 second.
All right.
All right, go ahead.
All right, sweet. Sweet, thanks, man. All right. What's one thing that I would one thing about myself that I would never change is about me being interested in current affairs. Normally in the morning or even in the evening when I do have spare time, what I always like to do is look at newspapers such as the Financial Times, the Guardian, well, the Daily Mail occasionally, and to be able to look at what's going on generally in the world. And it doesn't have to be just isolated to our own country, the United States. I'm interested in what happens in Europe, what even goes on these days in China, minus the whole the issues that are going on. But generally, any new things about the Chinese economy, about whether there are any new technological advances coming out of China, especially in today's tech economy. So that curiosity of what's going on in the world and what one can learn from the world, that's one thing I hope that doesn't diminish. And it's one aspect about myself that I want to get better about, understanding the world and understanding other people's or other societies, cultures and ways of life. So thanks, guys.
Thanks, Scott. I love that. Again, that idea of wanting to learn more and always staying up to date. I can just see you waking up in the morning, get your newspaper out, or be that on your phone, whatever it is, getting all up to date. So that was good. Oh, here's our next question. Oftentimes, we are worried about what people think of us. So what is one thing you would do differently if there's no one to judge you? Is there a certain thing you don't wear or say or act like? I think everyone's gone at least one.
I can take this one.
Okay, sorry.
So something that I would do differently if no one was judging me. So honestly, I had to think about this. And I think the biggest one, or at least the most awkward one, has to be in the middle of class, like, the big lecture halls. I mean, probably we don't have those now, but sometimes I'm sitting in the very middle of the lecture halls, right? And then you really have to either go to the bathroom or something like that. I just feel so awkward to even get up and do it, go to the bathroom or anything. It just feels really awkward. I remember this one time in the middle of class for CS. It was 8 a.m. I think, and we were in class. I was in the middle. I don't know why I picked going inside of the middle seating chart or whatever, right? I was in the middle, and then I really had to go to the bathroom, and the whole sides are full of people, completely packed. So I was I'm gonna have to get up, go past these people. Everyone's just gonna be staring at me. And the funny thing is, the doorway to get to it, you have to walk past the professor, and the door's behind them, right? So I have to walk past them. So then in my head, I was no, I can't do this. I can't do this. So I somehow managed to get out. I walked to the back, and I just hid there for a little bit, and then acted like I was coming down around. I did some convoluted things that didn't seem very suspicious or something like that, right? So honestly, I feel yeah, that's one of the things I would do differently if I could do it without being judged. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Sourin. That was a great one. I myself always pick an edge seat. If I have to arrive to the class 15 minutes early, I personally pick that seat, so I can totally relate to that specific issue. Okay, a little scenario. If you could only take 2 items with you to a deserted island, what would they be? Kaylee.
Okay, so if I just had one day where I was completely free, I would go to this deserted island. Looks beautiful. And I would take my sketchbook and a pencil, no eraser, because only 2 items. And that's what it says. And specifically the pencil and the sketchbook, because that's one of the things that I want to get better at, which is drawing. I have a love of drawing, and I really love like waking up and just looking at Instagram, and just like all of the people that I follow are artists. And I really like that because like everyone has, you could tell somebody like, here's a paper clip, and they would all do something different with it. And I think that's really amazing. And I want to get better at technically, taking the information that I see and putting it down on paper and making it photorealistic. But also, once I've achieved that skill, I'd like to make it, more imaginative, which I'm good at. So I'm sure I'll have ideas. I just want to be able to, draw it down on paper. So I would take one day to just go to this island with a sketchbook and a pencil and just draw everything that catches my eye, catches my fancy. Yeah.
Thanks, Kaylee. I think that's sounds very tranquil. I think I like how you took that a certain route. I know a lot of people, they always, I definitely would have taken that question, the survival route. Oh, I'm on a deserted island. I need to survive. I love the way you took that. And I have the same fascination with people that post all their amazing sketchings. On Instagram myself, I saw where there's a person who would sketch right there on the spot on a blank piece of paper, strangers in the subway, and then be completely photorealistic. I'm like, how do they do that? So,
Yeah, and all in one span of like the ride, and they would just give it to them. I mean, that's what I've seen, and that's really amazing, I think.
yeah, it's really incredible. Okay, now for the next question. If you could go back in time, tell your younger self one thing, what would it be?
I can take this one.
Okay, Justin.
I would go back in time and tell my younger self to be nice. I was a demon child. I am going to have, most likely, the worst demonic kids I could ever have because I gave hell to my parents. And anyone around, I mean, my siblings too. My mom couldn't leave the house without me and my one of my sisters calling her within 10 minutes. Sometimes before she left the driveway, we'd already be tackling each other and yelling at each other. I mean, we like physically fought. I put like a dent in our garage door because I got locked out of the house once and I got so mad. I wanted to get in. I don't know what I was thinking or what was wrong with me exactly, but I was a terrible kid. So I feel like the expression, well, just be nice. Like give these people a chance, like they're not, the world isn't out to get you. Like you don't have to be angry all the time. I mean, so I feel like be nice sums that up. Although my younger self would be like, I don't care and would move on. So ultimately going back in time would be useless because I wouldn't listen to me because I'm just that stubborn. Even if it was me, it's just like, no, you don't know anything because that was young me. And in many ways that can come up even in myself today. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Justin. I think that's a very useful item to tell yourself, younger self. And that is actually our final table topic. So thank you everyone for all those questions. We've made it to the conclusion. I think we had 12 questions. You guys did awesome. We will now take the time to vote. And since we normally send our votes to our Sergeant at Arms, we'll go ahead and send the votes to me, Slate Nations. So to do that, go to the chat where it should default to everyone. Click on it, click on Slate Nations, and just send me your first and second choice for table topics. when Trisha's here, she does this really great thing where she writes all the topics and who said it. Unfortunately, I didn't do that, so just remember who did the topic.
Yeah. Oh, well, actually,
Yes,
man,
Scott.
if you
Oh,
don't
yes,
let,
before we do voting, Scott, can you give your timer report? Was everybody in time for voting?
mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. All in time, man.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I was also just gonna mention that I was writing down everyone's entry, so I can put that in the chat if you like.
Oh, that is awesome. Looks like Scott did that. Yeah, if you want to go and do that, that'd be great. So if you did want to remember who did a particular topic.
Mhm. Mhm.
And while we're also continuing to vote, you can also leave feedback for me as your tabletop master today. Please give me anything you thought I did really well and any recommendations for something I can do better in the future. I hope to get someone says to be better prepared on how to share screen because it is very difficult. Practice makes perfect. And I again applaud everyone that makes screen sharing and doing the table topics so flawlessly.
Slate, if I may interject,
Yes.
I totally forgot to actually I didn't know what was the best time to like go more into depth with like the word of the day. But would it be okay if I just did that now?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Okay. So here's some, interesting words for you guys today. The word lassitude. Let me just go over what that means again. So the definition of that, there are 3 definitions. A feeling of lack of interest or energy, weakness characterized by a lack of vitality or energy, and a state of comatose torpor, or as found in sleeping sickness. Another way to think about it is if you are feeling lassitude, you are weary and just can't be bothered. Couch potatoes make lassitude into an art form. A couple of sentences that I found that very accurately illustrate this word is, you still get the runny nose and cough, but it gets rid of the aches, pains, and general uncomfortable lassitude. The next sentence is, it isn't like they've worked out how to levitate the television remote control across the room to allow for utter and total lassitude. And that's what I've got. Sorry, guys.
Oh, that was great. Thank you, Kaylee. Yeah, I think you can normally go ahead and do that when you're called on as reporter, but I think that was great to bring it up still. And that will conclude my table topic section. So thank you, everybody. I'll now pass it back to our Toastmaster, Courtney.